And what are you asking me? Did the Sopranos steal from Goodfellas? No. Then I can explain why. But I mean, that was the standard back then, and it pretty much still is when you talk about the mafia in movies, just like the old cowboy movies, and just like the old cowboy TV shows. There's a standard. Um, and what did it run? Six or technically it ran for 7 seasons. Yeah, he proved himself by then. Um, by having Lorraine Bracco and Chris Imperioli and the guy who played Billy Bats and stuff was a tribute. I think he could have did without them. Maybe not Chris Imperioli because he was wonderful. No, I mean they had their own stories, and you got to stick to the genre, just like if it was a rock and roll band. Like I heard that change somewhere. Like yeah, it's a standard now. You know, once you run for 7 seasons, you definitely fucking proved yourself. It was a giant movie. It was genius in a lot of ways. Yeah, just like yeah. And the people, they loved it. They wouldn't let it end. They when Saturday Night Live talks about you like that, then you you struck gold. You struck oil. I was shocked back then. I remember sitting and watch because I used to watch a lot of that. It was on Channel 13. You didn't have to have cable. I remember seeing that, thinking to myself, "Holy shit, that must be a good show for Saturday Night Live to give it such a sarcastic high praise." Then I watched the podcast with Steve Sherpa and Chris Imperioli, and it was awesome. It was like sitting with two friends. It took me about a week to watch it. I fucking love Chris Imperioli. I'm telling you, if I that seems like one of my guys, one of my friends. He's a sweet guy, real nice guy, and it must have beat the shit out of them to both of them to do that podcast. It lasted for a goddamn week. They went through every episode. And I didn't know that, but I used to think that back then. I'm like, that guy should be in a band. Chris Imperioli. He looked like where's your lead singer? And then you'd look at the back of the club, you'd see a dude like that walking. So, but apparently he did have a band, which was shocking to me. I was like, holy shit! And they had guests come back, and it was great to see how everybody aged and what they're up to, and it was fucking, it was phenomenal. I didn't want it to end either. I kept replaying. I kept going back to season 4 and restarting. I might have to watch it again. And I think, yeah, I was watching the thing and I'm like, who the hell are these people? I'm like, that looks a lot like Frankie Valli, and it was Frankie Valli. And then I'm like, the other guy, I'm like, that reminds me of Steven Van Zandt from Bruce Springsteen. And that's who it was. The guy Silvio. He was fucking amazing. The character Silvio is something you work on your whole life. I think he was acting without acting because and he was just the most New York, New Jersey guy I've ever seen. I remember walking into Hermes every week, and there'd be a Steven Van Zandt type, and you'd be like, oh, I love this guy. He's always got the strings, he's got the picks, he's working on a guitar, he's got the head thing on. That was a great surprise. I loved Junior. That's what my favorite guy was. And then when they brought on Steven Van Zandt, I was like, wow, this is every New York, New Jersey guitar player that's worth a damn. They all act like that. For some reason, a lot of them are Italian too. But he was amazing. His wife acts, but he didn't have any experience. And I was just they had the most awesome. They said it wasn't. I don't really care, but he had the most awesome wig. He looked amazing with that fucking hair, fucking Silvio. When he killed Adriana, that was like wow, holy shit. She's crawling away on her little hands and knees. I loved Adriana. That's Subat. And he killed her. I was like, wow, that's cold. Where are you going, bitch? pop, 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 pop. It was amazing. Yeah, and David Chase, I think his name is, did it, and they were talking to him. He's another one. He seems like a really great guy. He seems so sad to me, and I watched a special with him, and that was good. I didn't want that to end either. They went back into his life, how he came to be. They had the girl that plays Meadow. She aged really fucking good. Wow, Little Meadow was hot. They didn't have the daughter Hunter. That girl was ultra fucking hot. I wish they had her in. She was only in 2 episodes. That's David's daughter, little hottie, super hottie back then. I swear to God. And the girl Janice is Reva. That's me and Renee's friend Reva. I couldn't believe it. But Christopher was definitely one of my favorites. I have a lot in common with that character then and now. They gave up her character name, which was Hunter. Her real name is uh, Michelle. I forgot how to pronounce her last name, but that's the only one they didn't have back on. Junior, as of 4 years ago, Junior was still alive, living in England. I think he was great. Dominic.